I think we're witnessing the extraordinary spectacle at the moment of a political party in Britain not merely losing, but evaporating or falling down the plug hole. The Conservative Party, once the natural party of government, is now polling at 17% as of this morning. We need to pause to consider the significance of that 17. That's not just a statistical embarrassment, it's a political obituary from YouGov. The same number they hit during the Brexit implosion under Theresa May, but May had one small thing Kemi Badenoch doesn't. She had a pulse in the polls shortly afterwards. This week, backbench MPs are gathering to discuss whether Kemi Badenoch should actually be replaced, whether she's actually expired in office. She is, in response, she says that she's confident she'll lead the party into the next election, so she knows there's trouble. One's reminded of a captain insisting the ship is unsinkable while ankle deep in Atlantic brine. And yet, her problem isn't just the water rising, it's the fact that, politically speaking, there are sharks circling. Reform UK is polling ahead of the Conservatives. Ahead. Nigel Farage, the Marmite demagogue of British politics, is seriously discussed as a more credible opposition leader than Badenoch. And that should send shudders through every Conservative association from Cheltenham to Chingford. And it isn't merely a blip, it's a realignment. And the Farage project has ceased to be a protest movement and has become, terrifyingly for the Tories, an alternative. Now, Badenoch's supporters argue that she inherited an impossible situation. She did. But that meant that she needed to put in the time and not shrink back into laziness and social media. 14 years of government detritus, a burnt-out party, voter fatigue. True. But the truth is also this: she hasn't put forward a vision. There's no strategy, there's no coherence, there's no personality, there's no charisma, there's no leadership. She speaks in platitudes, tough on immigration, faster policy rollout, don't make announcements without a plan. But there is no plan. Where's the plan? What's the economic message? Where's the moral argument? What are the ideas? She has none. It's not as if she's trying to run a convent either. Even her natural base, the Conservative voters, are unconvinced. Nearly half of them don't see her as a Prime Minister in waiting. Among the wider electorate, and that was, I think, a YouGov poll at the end of last year. Among the wider electorate, it's worse. People actually consider her untrustworthy rather than trustworthy. And only 14% believe she looks like a Prime Minister. That's not a figure, that's a warning sign. Meanwhile, Robert Jenrick circles like a hawk in a navy suit. Lots of animals here. Sharks on one side, hawks up in the air. And he claims he can win back the right and stitch together a Conservative reform pact. The trouble is, uniting those parties might also unite their enemies and gift Labour with a decade of dominance. Should reform absorb the Tories, the Lib Dems will become the formal opposition. Imagine that. Because if the reform takes on the Tories, if the reform becomes Tory light or the Tories go over to reform, there will be a substantial number of MPs and constituents who simply defect to the Lib Dem or form their own pact there. That will automatically move His Majesty's opposition, and the Lib Dem will then take over. It only needs 20 votes. It only needs 20 MPs. And, imagine that. Ed Davey facing Starmer at PMQs. Well, stranger things have happened, though not many. I mean, I'm a great fan of the idea of the Lib Dem revival, just not under Ed Davey, because I think until Ed Davey deals with the fallout of his involvement with Horizon, I just don't think Ed Davey is the right person to be leading the Lib Dems. But others, like James Cleverly, present themselves as centrist saviours. Now, James Cleverly could possibly pull this off. He's not exactly blessed with charisma himself, but he's the only person I can actually think of who could bring the Conservatives back to the centre. And without coming back to the centre, the Conservatives are doomed. There's no appetite for centrism in a party hollowed out by ideological contradictions and abandoned constituencies. The truth, the party is no longer what it was. It doesn't know what it's for or who it serves, and it needs somebody to bring it back into the centre. James Cleverly might be able to do that, but it would be a caretaker role. Badenoch, she's not so much standing firm as idling. This isn't the Titanic. It's Coleridge's Ancient Mariner. Day after day, day after day, we stuck, not breath nor motion. There's no change, there's no charge forward, there's no defiance, there's no defiant blaze of purpose. There's just inertia, laziness, stillness, inability. And the internal party silence is not peace, it's contempt. The activists have drifted to reform or drifted into political wilderness. The councillors are gone, the donors are anxious, the MPs are drinking in the shadow cabinet room, whispering about coups, because quite simply, the leader doesn't look like a winner. Some say give her time, but time, like votes, is something the Conservative Party has run out of. She's right about one thing: this is no longer about winning the next election, it's about whether the party survives to contest it.